Story time, sports, injuries, and setbacks. I got a message today from a really nice lady named Janet. Thank you for writing me, Janet. Janet had discovered my YouTube series, The Road to Recovery, and had shared with me that she had recently had ACL surgery on her left knee, and she's just struggling with the fact that she can't practice BJJ. She misses her friends, her routine, and I wanted to just talk about it a little bit and take a moment to share a quick story time with everybody, because this is something I can personally relate to, and I feel like hopefully I could share a little bit of my experience and help somebody in case they're having a hard time right now. So without listing a number of injuries, I'm just going to name a couple of the most significant ones. I've broken my back twice. I've had multiple back procedures, but I've had two different spinal fusions on my L4-5. My first spinal fusion was a failed procedure. It was a technique that was a little bit new at the time. It didn't work for me. I'll spare you that detail. Anyway, essentially about a year and a half later, I had to get a second fusion done. And I went from a lateral to a bilateral, screw on my L4-5. And there's sort of like a Lego piece in between those two vertebrae to help with the spacing. They put some shavings of my bone in there to help with the actual vertebrae itself fuse as well. So I had my back put back together. That was about 2 years of my life, from beginning to end, living through the course of those two major surgeries and then having to rehab, okay? I never thought I would ever go through anything more physically challenging than that. I was wrong. Last year, in 2020, I sustained a pretty significant injury to my neck. I was training in BJJ. However, I really believe, we'll never know, that I had had these issues for a number of years. Some herniations, some things going on in there from my 20 plus years of wrestling. But anyway, I zigged when I should have zagged, I guess, or it was just time. And I herniated my C5, my C6, and my C7 discs, and they all bulged into the spinal column, creating significant pain, of course, but really more troubling than that was a lot of neurological damage. Shut down a number of muscle groups down my left arm. My fingers went numb. They're still numb to this day. And I had significant atrophy through my triceps, my lat, and my left pec, excuse me. I've to this day still work on rehabbing all of those muscle groups and strengthening, and I'll likely never be the same, but I've come so far and I'm so happy. And all of that journey was detailed in the YouTube series Road to Recovery, so I really do encourage you to check that out if you're curious, and all of your questions will likely be answered there. Enough about me, right? Story time. These are a couple of the lessons I learned, okay? First and foremost, I'm gonna pause, and I just wanna say, if you're struggling, I'm really sorry. I feel you, and I understand, okay? There is literally never a good time for an injury. If you're an athlete, this likely disrupted your entire plans, every bit of structure you had, maybe some of your physical security, but your psychological security. And I understand that, okay? In some of my darkest moments, not very long ago, okay, within the past year, I was up in the middle of the night pacing because I felt helpless, I felt vulnerable, I felt physically weak, and I was paranoid, and what if someone broke in the house, or is that a funny noise? And anyway, so I'm not always perfect either. I understand the low lows and the high highs, So let me first say that, and hopefully I can relay some of that and let you know I've been there and I get it. But today's message is really all about positivity. And I just want to give you a couple tips that help me get through all of this. I've had short rehabs, long rehabs, and look, this is how it works. Stay positive. That's it. You're going to have to really learn how to incorporate positive self-talk into your life every day, okay? We live in our own minds, in our own hearts, and we can't go to others to help fill that bucket, okay? Especially when you're injured, okay? If you're used to training an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours a day, and all of a sudden abruptly it's taken away because your ACL needs surgery and your leg has to be elevated for several hours a day, and you're sitting on a couch for the first time in your life and you're thinking, what now? All you have to do is say, okay, I need to think something positive. Okay, my leg is incapacitated. What else can I do? Do something in your mind, okay? Maybe study the technique of your sport. Take the time to encourage a teammate who may also be competing. Engage in something else in or around the sport that helps fulfill that bucket, right? Let's say you don't want to be around the sport. Maybe that's too hard for you. That's okay too. That's okay. What else would make you feel more secure and safe then? I don't know. Is it physically rehabbing? That was it for me. I just felt like the more I can contribute to this, the more I could eat healthy, the faster I'm going to recuperate. So for me, I switched gears. I immediately said, okay, what did the doctor say to do? I'm going to absolutely do that. And I detailed it and I wrote it down, and again, it's documented, but my job became about helping me be better. And I learned a lot of lessons, okay? Through it, I learned that I became a better friend because I was supporting my peers, and I was happy to support my peers. Ultimately, I was fortunate enough to be able to return to training. I don't know that that'll be that way for everybody. But for me, I became a little bit better because I took a huge break to do nothing but study technique, and that was helpful. Instead of just using pure athleticism, heart, grit, consistency, repetition, all that stuff I knew how to do just by being a grinder, and forced me to be more cerebral. That was a gift. And I never would have discovered that had I not gotten put on injury reserve for a little while. So I hope some of this was encouraging. I'm here. Message me if you need some encouragement. I got your back. I'm happy to send you something positive. You're your own best friend, okay? Or your own worst enemy, but I like to just think you're your own best friend. That's all you need to be. I believe in you. I got your back. This is story time. Injuries, setbacks, just keep it positive.